Welcome to What to Pair, your no-frills guide for pairing food and wine. What do I mean by that? Well, I take a food, I pair it with 5 wines, and then on the following slides, I briefly explain why these pairings work. So today we are covering Chicken Cacciatore and wine pairing. Chicken Cacciatore is a classic Italian dish that is heavy on tomatoes, herbs, and maybe some bell peppers, garlic, anchovies, onions, or black olives. So we're looking at a very strong flavored dish here. Because there is a high tomato aspect to Chicken Cacciatore, you need a red wine that is high in acidity. So we tend to lean more towards Sangiovese grape-based wines like Chianti or Brunello. However, other wines that are high in acidity like Barbera or Primitivo work great too. And Merlot, it works well too as long as it is medium-bodied and not too full-bodied. When you have a lot of tannin in red wine and very low acidity, the tannin will clash with the tomato sauce, making the wine taste flat and kind of give it like an aluminum kind of metallic taste that is just not appealing unless you're a billy goat. So our first pairing is Chianti and Chicken Cacciatore. I give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. Chianti Classico is a medium-bodied red, and it has some tannin plus a lot of acidity that balances out the wine. Again, as we said before, acidity won't clash with tomatoes, and that's what you want in this instance. And because it's high in acidity, the wine is also refreshing against the strong flavors of garlic, onion, anchovies, and olives. Plus, you get this nice rustic quality, like these herbal notes that complement any herbs you might have in your Chicken Cacciatore, along with the earthy flavors of garlic, onions, and the olives. Our next pairing, I give 4 out of 5 stars, and that is Bernello. Bernello is more full-bodied than Chianti, and it is made from the Sangiovese grape, or a really close relative of that. I don't want to get into that just now. But like Chianti Classico, you're going to find this red wine that has a balanced tannin to acidity ratio, so it won't clash with the tomato aspect of your Chicken Cacciatore. Brunello needs some serious aging before pairing, so I wouldn't select a young Brunello before I paired it with Chicken Cacciatore. And with these Brunellos that you've aged, you're gonna have some nice flavors of blueberry, cherry, cedar, leather, and herbal notes. This is a far more expensive bottle of red, and it's probably not the first wine I would pair with Chicken Cacciatore, but if you love Chicken Cacciatore, by all means, go for it and see what you think. Now, Brunello will overshadow the chicken, but you also have to think chicken really isn't the star here. It's more the tomatoes, anchovies, garlic, onions. That sauce is really what makes Chicken Cacciatore a powerful meal. Chicken in general, it's great. I love it, but it is rather neutral. Part of me wants to give this less stars because of that, but I think if you have this together, you're a Brunello fan, you're a chicken fan, you'll find an outstanding pairing right here. Our next pairing is Barbera and Chicken Cacciatore. I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Barbera is a lighter red wine and it's very refreshing, which is something you want when you're faced with those garlic, onion, olive, anchovy flavors that are incredibly strong. Again, it won't clash with tomatoes. Barbera is also low in alcohol, which is kind of nice when you're eating a heavier meal, as the alcohol can make you sleepy and tired, where Barbera won't. Also has that rustic charm that complements the earthy flavors found in your Chicken Cacciatore. Our fourth pairing is Primativo and Chicken Cacciatore. Now, Primativo is essentially Zinfandel. It's the Italian version of Zinfandel, but it's got a little more acidity and it's not as jammy as those California Zinfandels that we're all familiar with. With Primativo, you'll find an easy drinking red wine that is, again, refreshing. It's high enough in acidity not to clash with the tomatoes, and the acidity, it just brightens up all the flavors in the dish, especially the chicken. It just brings them more forward. So with Primitivo, you will taste the chicken and the wine on the finish, which always makes for an outstanding pairing. And my final pairing is Merlot and Chicken Cacciatore. I give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Merlot isn't the first red wine I'd reach for, but it is popular and it's available everywhere, and a lot of the wines above you might not be able to find by the glass if you're dining in a restaurant, or you might have a Merlot that you just like to drink and you're looking for some foods to pair it up with. Chicken Cacciatore, it's gonna work perfectly fine. So you want to select a medium-bodied Merlot. Those full-bodied Merlots that are sometimes equivalent to Cabernet Sauvignon, those won't do because they'll be a little higher in tannin and it's gonna clash with the tomatoes. You don't want that. So instead you want a supple and seductive Merlot that's got lots of dark cherry and chocolate notes. For more pairings, and I got quite a few more for Chicken Cacciatore, visit my website, whattoapair.ca. Link is in the description below. I got a nice little database there. You just type in the food you want to pair with, and the database spits out the rankings and the wines that will go great with those foods. Or you can search by wine. If there's a wine you have and you want some food pairing recommendations, just type that in and you'll get some great results. Anyway, that wraps up another pairing. Until next week, cheers.